Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2022, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber of Commerce. My name is Tim Zunker, and I'm the president with the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. Our hope is that these candidate interviews and profiles will help you, the voter, understand your choices when it comes to the 2022 elections. We ask voters to arm themselves with the information necessary to make educated choices and to make casting your vote a priority. Please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org to find out more information about the upcoming election. Now I'd like to introduce Luke Hennen, who is running for re-election for Scott County Sheriff. Luke, thank you for joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for being engaged in the community and learning about the role of the county sheriff. As a lifelong resident of Scott County, I knew from an early age I wanted to stay in the community and serve in a way that would make it a better place, not only for me, but for my family and every person who calls Scott County their home. So today I seek your public endorsement of these intentions. Let's work together to build a safe community to live, work, and play. I began my career here 25 years ago at the sheriff's office. I started out working in the jail, later rising through the ranks as a deputy, detective, a sergeant, chief deputy, and then I became your county sheriff in 2016. For education, I have a Bachelor of Science in Law Enforcement and a Master's of Public Administration from Minnesota State University in Mankato. And all of these experiences exposed me to the complex work of the sheriff's office. I discovered early on that it's much more than just the deputies you see out in patrol in a squad car, where our patrol division is just 15% of the 160 employees that work under the sheriff's office. My knowledge here helps me understand that I have to be successful in operating a county jail, a countywide 911 dispatch center, provide courthouse security, emergency management services, water patrol, as well as issuing gun permits. When I'm not at work, I'm active in the community. I serve in the Jordan Lions, Shakopee Rotary, the Scott County Agricultural Society, as well as fostering dogs with the Carver Scott Humane Society. I reside in Jordan with my wife, Debbie, and my daughters, Audra and Lucille.
Great. Thank you, Luke. We'll get into the questions. We continually hear that opioid use is a problem in our county and region. How big of a problem is opioid use in Scott County, and what do we need to do to address this problem?
Yeah, so this is a big problem, and we hear about it in the news. We see it in talking to family members. You know, we're all touched by it in some way, from the addiction as well as the overdoses and the deaths that come with it. So as I sit on the board of directors for our regional drug task force, which covers Scott, Carver, McLeod counties, I can recognize quickly that it's not unique to Scott County. It's not our region even. It's our nation as a whole. All are experiencing this. But also these experiences around enforcement have taught me that we also need more tools than just enforcement. Law enforcement needs more help. We need more ways to solve these problems. So some of the pieces I've worked on is in the past 6 years, I've been a co-chair of the Choose Not to Use program alongside Scott County Attorney Ron Hosevar. And we work to raise funds to do drug prevention education in our schools, and also increasing awareness around our Take It to the Box medication disposal program. So that allows every city in our county has a program either at their police department or at their city hall where you can drop off unused medications and try to keep them out of the hands of folks that could be harmed by them. And then on the backside, the sheriff's office also manages all the disposal of those drugs. So we collect them from each city and get them to a proper disposal site. And then in addition, my staff continues to see successful outcomes as we collaborate with our drug treatment court in our first district courts here in Shakopee, and also the use of naloxone to save lives out in the community in our jail, and see some outcomes there that are positive. But mainly while operating the county jail, I'm just daily reminded of the high costs of substance abuse in our community. The crimes that occur in the wake of these addictions all have a huge impact. So I'm very excited to be part of Scott County's steering committee on the recent opioid settlement that came through nationwide, and Scott County was opted into it. So we're meeting to look at proactive ways to spend that money to keep our county safer and healthier for all.
Great. Thank you, Luke. Please explain how the Scott County Sheriff's Department works with local law enforcement throughout Scott County. What initiatives do you see which can help bolster these partnerships?
This is great. This is a great question. This is one of my favorite parts about my job is the collaboration we do here, and it's not something new. So over the past 50 years, the sheriff's office has provided the radio system and the public safety dispatching for law enforcement and fire. So it's a long-standing program that we've been doing, and we're very proud of it. And I think it's cost effective and efficient. But in turn, over the years, things have developed. Like we have a newer radio system, that 800 megahertz radio system. So it's even bigger than the previous stuff. Now this provides radio communications, all of our public works in our cities, our transit, and public health even, all are on the same system that the sheriff's office manages at no cost to our city partners. And it really does make us more effective. We learned through 9/11 that radio communications were one of the biggest issues that haunted the response because people were not able to talk to each other. And this system now, this armor type system, allows us to, all of those people I mentioned earlier can talk together during emergencies, as well as my deputies can respond to emergency in northern Minnesota and sync the radios to that communication as well, or respond to a hurricane disaster in the southern part of the US and be able to communicate as well. So we're very proud of that. In addition, our emergency management team works with our city partners to develop plans and respond to natural disasters and acts of violence. So we, throughout the course of the year, do planning, tabletop exercises with our schools, nursing homes, meet with entertainment venues, and as well as in our neighborhoods. So one example is in 2019, prior to COVID hitting, we were doing full-scale exercises as well, and we're looking to get some of those events going again. But the last one we did was bringing police and fire agencies across the county together at our regional training center and practicing how to best respond to an active shooter. So working together so there's a seamless response to not only deal with the act of violence, but also to help those that are injured as quickly as possible. As we've seen, there's been response time issues across the nation in some of these types of calls.
Great,
then,
thank you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, good. And then in addition, we also have longstanding agreements with like SWAT and our narcotics investigations, all combined are regionally. They're amongst our police departments, our county, and even our neighboring counties all work together. And those things really work well. And then lastly, just some of the services the county provides as the sheriff's office to our city partners would be our canine. We have the only dog in the county, and we make that dog available for apprehension or drug sniffs for all of our police partners. And then on the investigative side, we have a crime analyst, computer forensics person, as well as our crime scene, and our just general investigators are always available and assisting to our city partners when there's a request. And that kind of showed up a couple weeks ago here. We had this parental abduction in the courthouse here, and about 24 police agencies all showed up to help us. There was over 50 investigators on scene here working together throughout the night to safely resolve that. But not only our county and our city PDs, but all across the region, people showed up, state and federal agencies as well, to work together. And I think it really highlights how it does work. We all work together and get that outcome for the community. And then lastly, I'm working with the police chiefs across the county right now with human services on a grant they received that we can do some coordinated response. So this would allow us to embed some social workers into the sheriff's office and our police departments and improve some outcomes for those experiencing a mental health crisis.
Great, thank you, Luke. We hear of communities having issues maintaining a full staff of officers for their law enforcement agencies. What can the sheriff's department do to maintain strong staffing levels?
Yeah, so staffing issues are a struggle for law enforcement as well as the private sector in today's day and age. But for the sheriff's office, it's important to understand, like I mentioned earlier, we're not just patrol, so it's not just hiring peace officers, but there's 160 employees in my agency that run the range from corrections officers, dispatchers, to nurses in the jail, to clerical staff, and to specialized units, that do different specialized pieces. So it's very challenging. But we've been working hard with our county administration, the county board, looking at creative ways to make sure as they're negotiating contracts for my employees to make sure they're aware of what is going on and what we're seeing in the region to make us competitive. And just last year, we added a pilot program to allow us to pay some bonuses for recruitment and retention. So not only does the new employee get a bonus at higher 1 year and at 2 year periods, if any of our current employees make that recruitment, they will get that same bonus as well to encourage people to bring in good folks they know and bring them to our agency. So just yesterday, we did a presentation to the county board on the 1 year kind of mark of that. And we found that of the hiring we did, anybody that had been recruited by a current employee is still here. So 100% of the people that recruited in the last year are still here. So I think that speaks a lot to what we're trying to do with culture, being family friendly, and also doing a lot around employee wellness. And then in addition to that, we really work on developing our employees. So knowing that with the wide range of jobs you have in a sheriff's office, somebody may not choose to do that job for 30, 35 years like we'd see a few decades ago. So as I hire a corrections officer in the jail or a dispatcher, there's always this push to allow them to develop to where their career wants to go. So just last year, 3 of our deputy sheriffs we hired came out of the jail as corrections officers. So they went, got their schooling either before coming to us or during their job at the jail. And now they're on the road working the streets and bringing that knowledge from the jail, but also that development of their career to see them through to what they really want to do. And then with that, we also provide leadership training to all of our employees through the Sheriff's Association. We have an online forum where they can go on and take college level classes to recognize that they're all leaders, whether you're a support staff person or myself. Every one of us is a leader in the organization and making the decisions that make our community safer. And then I think lastly, it's a lot about the community engagement. I think sometimes maybe see police agencies doing, going on playing soccer and stuff like that. And we're trying to develop relationships, but we're also trying to recruit. And I really see it as a long game. The child I meet today at a community event and shake their hand, give them a sticker, talk with them about my job, they may be walking through my door years down the road as an employee. And I think that's great. If we can spark that interest in public safety through those relationships, or having a deputy live down the street from him who spends some time talking to him, that's how you can really nurture this career. And I use my own example. My dad introduced me to Sheriff Nevin back when I was a middle schooler at a community event, and here I am today. So I think there's good hope there, but it's kind of a long game as well of really working hard to develop and build those relationships.
No, that's great, Luke. Thank you. The role of the sheriff is highly administrative and responsible for a large staff. What do you think is the most important skill required to succeed in this role?
And I would answer that with relationships. It really is about that. So leading accomplishments in public safety all relies on relationships. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a big case a couple weeks ago, having relationships, people come to help, we all work together and we have that common theme. And to get the work of the sheriff's office done as the sheriff requires that. So I've been here 25 years, working alongside our amazing staff and volunteers. I've done their jobs. I worked in the jail. I was out on the boat. I've worked on patrol. I've been a detective. I've done crime scene. I've been these pieces with them and worked alongside them, and now I'm leading them through that. But it's a lot. Like I said, there's 160 employees. They fall under 7 different bargaining units. A lot of unions, a lot of contracts. All the stuff requires relationships to be successful and keep that team moving. And then I would finish with the last 6 years as the county sheriff. I've been working with the residents, the community groups, local governments, our schools, and our county board to bring success and safety to the community. And I think it shows.
Great. Thank you, Luke. That is our question. So I give you the opportunity to give your closing statement and message to the voters.
All right. Thank you. I'm honored and excited for this opportunity to continue to serve the community as your county sheriff. I've known that Scott County was the ideal place to live, work, and raise my family. And I've witnessed this community change from the rural setting in which I was raised into suburban county full of diverse backgrounds and experiences. I've gained a lot of experience since I began the tenure as a corrections officer over 25 years ago and serving as the county sheriff for the past 6 of those. This experience has taught me about the challenges facing our community, and I look forward to continuing a dialogue with our citizens to seek out creative ways to solve problems. I'd like to thank all the county sheriffs I've served under, as well as my colleagues who've helped me along the way. And a special thanks goes out to my wife and daughters, my family, and my friends for all their support. I promise to continue working hard to keep your trust and respect as your county sheriff. Please vote to re-elect Sheriff Hennen on November 8th. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Luke. As a reminder, the views expressed in these interviews are those of the candidates, not those of the Chamber and Visitors Bureau. The Chamber is sponsoring these events as a service to the community and has gone to great lengths to ensure the objectivity. The Chamber does not endorse any candidate, but seeks to provide you, the citizens and voters of Shakopee, with the information you need to make an informed choice. The Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau extends a sincere thank you to the candidates. Thank you, Luke. We appreciate your time and service to our community by running for office. You're performing an important service to us all. Again, thank you for joining us for this edition of Meet the Candidates 2022. Please join us September 29th at River Valley Church for our candidate forum. Please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org for more information. Thank you. Thanks again, Luke.
Thank you.